everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies Podcast. I'm so excited today. Today, we are doing another entry in our top 5 series that we've done since the beginning of the year, where we talk about, it's a bonus podcast, and we talk about 5 movies, or in this case, we're going to do television. But this is a really fun episode of the podcast we're doing because it's kind of one of our first, I would say, super fan interviews that that I have been following and enjoying Michelle Benson's tweeting for some time. And she not only is a big fan of the podcast, but she also is a fan of so many different shows and stuff. And so I've really been wanting to get her on the podcast. And so this is kind of half interview, half top 5. Just going to be all fun. And I'm Rachel, and Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh my God, thank you so much for inviting me on, Rachel.
Yeah, this is such a treat. And you'll all hear that Michelle has a accent. She's from the other side of the pond. And so why don't you take a chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and your interests in your life.
I'm from Scotland. I'm from a city in Scotland called Glasgow, which is it has its own kind of, the Scottish accent is difficult enough, but a Glaswegian accent is even more difficult. It's like a different dialect. So I'm going to try to speak very slow and clear so that everybody can understand me.
I love it. I love it. I think it's so cool.
Thanks. So yeah, like my day job, what I do day to day, I work part-time, so I have quite a bit of free time. My day job is pretty boring. I work for a maintenance company. We just kind of go around and make sure different buildings are kind of up to standard, and every day is a bit different because every building needs a different kind of, I guess, like different approach. So yeah, sometimes I'm just making sure everything's up to code. Sometimes I'm helping the cleaning staff. Sometimes, so yeah, it's pretty boring, I would say. But yeah, I work part-time. My mum is at home. She's disabled. My dad's a full-time carer, so I just like to make sure I have kind of free time to kind of help out whenever I can. And kind of boring that way, like hanging out with my parents. So yeah, I just like to make sure I've got kind of time to be with them, kind of every day if needed. And
did you grow up?
With my dog.
Yeah. Oh, you have a dog?
Yeah. He's like my obsession.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
He's a border collie. So
Cute.
yeah, he's like a sheepdog, a Scottish sheepdog. He's passed out just now, and we're everything crossed. He stays that way. He's lying next to me.
That's cute. Have you always lived in Glasgow?
Yeah, born and raised in Glasgow. Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. Very good. So you did you grow up watching a lot of movies? Like, were your parents kind of movie / TV fans?
My dad is, yeah. My dad introduced me to kind of TV, kind of like Star Trek and things like that. But I would say that growing up, like obviously I had my like obsessions when I was kind of pre-teens. Kind of like your I don't really know, like BBC over here, they had like children's programming. So I would kind of obsess over those kind of things, but it wasn't really until my teens that movies was kind of the main obsession. I would say kind of all through the 90s, it was all horror, kind of all the time. I've seen everything. Kind of post-Scream, 1996. I was just obsessed with horror. And it really wasn't until my uncle had given me like Star Wars, my dad obviously with Star Trek. My uncle also gave me like the Dune miniseries, the Sci-Fi done, and that kind of opened up my whole world into that kind of TV world. Well, one show in particular, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, that kind of split things for me, and I became kind of more interested in all different genres because I sort of was just horror all the time, and then kind of now I don't think there's any kind of movie genre or platform or whatever that I just wouldn't watch. I give everything a chance in that sense.
Yeah, I've noticed that it seems like you just follow. It could be a costume drama, it could be a sci-fi, it could be these romantic comedies. You're interested in kind of everything, which is cool, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to be. You find so many kind of like hidden gems or appreciation for certain things if you kind of just open your mind up a little bit to kind of everything, give everything a chance.
Yeah. The different television shows that you watch, I have a theory. I call it the 2-season rule. And what I mean by the 2-season rule is I think almost every single show has 2 really good seasons of ideas. And then there's a significant fall after that. Because I feel like the story runners and the producers and all the writers and everything, they have that much sort of planned out. And then, like, if you're lucky, I feel like The Office and a couple of, they had like 4. I feel like The Office had 4 good seasons, and then there was a noticeable decline. And I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm right there, or do you think that's too harsh?
Yeah, I think there's something there, absolutely. I think the structure of television is so different now. Like, nothing dies, everything gets renewed, everything gets rebooted, everything.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many structures. It's just kind of, you take a chance with shows now. And you know, when I was coming up with my list, I took out all the shows that were currently ongoing. I just said I'm not putting any of them in because, you know, Game of Thrones would have absolutely been in my list of favourite sci-fi fantasy shows without a doubt. But this past week, I'm like, I'm not going to like the ending of this show. And that's just going to sour the entire thing.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take away from the previous seasons, obviously, but would I say it's my favourite of all time now? I don't know. I'll need to wait and see there. But yeah, I think you do just kind of have to take a chance, and, you know, showrunners kind of leave halfway through, or, you know, or in this case with Game of Thrones, I feel like they're just done with the show, so they're fitting, you know, 2 seasons worth of story into 6 episodes, which is not ideal. But yeah, you do. There is something there. You do just take a risk, and even when people say like, "Oh, we've got like Supernatural's a good example." You know, those showrunners started that show. They had a 5-year plan. I would say the first 5-year seasons of that show are fantastic. Season 5 is probably the best season of that show. It's still going. I don't know what season they're up to. I think they're...
It's like 15 now, isn't it?
I don't know.
Like,
it's
crazy.
Yeah, if they said they were in their 30s, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I watched up till about season 10, and it just became so monotonous. And as much as I like the characters, I was just like, oh my God, end. Like, give me an ending. Like, everything felt like, I don't know how many times those boys died. Everything just felt like, well, you're going to be revived next season, so why should I care?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, there's certain shows that have plans, showrunners will see them out, and that's kind of the, you know, things like Breaking Bad or but then again you have things like the X-Files, which just like, it's a great show, but I can't say that every season of that show was perfect, or every, you know, actors want to leave, or kind of, there is something there. I mean, for me, like, when I start a new show, if it's not got me by the 5th episode, I'll leave. And if I have somebody say to me, you know, a year down the line, you know, the first season of that show was fantastic, I'll happily go back to it. But there's just so much now that if it's not got me by 5 episodes, I kind of check out.
That's your rule?
Yeah. 5 episodes not got me, then I'm out.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I don't know.
I mean,
it's hard for me.
Seasons are just too long now.
Yeah, it's hard because
too long.
I just watch so many movies that I review for the podcast. I just don't have time, and you know, and I have to watch television shows that you know, for the podcast as well, as far as When Calls the Heart and stuff like that. And
I mean, I haven't even seen any of the Hallmark shows because of all the actual other shows that I watch. Yeah. So you kind of have to pick and choose when your time is so limited.
Yeah, I do really enjoy some comedies right now. I really enjoy American Housewife. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. I still really enjoy the Goldbergs. I think it's still really funny.
I love the Goldbergs,
Yeah. And I love Survivor, which is reality, you know, television, but I love Survivor.
Yeah, I don't think we have that on here. Over here. I don't think we have our own version of that, which is usually the case, but
yeah. And what else? I mean, I did finish season 3 of Victoria finally. It took me forever, but I loved that show. I think that show's great. And
oh yeah, that's the no.
Yeah, and I finished Star Trek Discovery finally. It took me forever. But I was like, wow, I finished 2 seasons of drama. Like, this is commitment. This is great.
Yeah, I don't even want to tell you how many seasons I've got ongoing just now. It's actually kind of scary. Yeah. I don't even look at the numbers. I just watch what I watch and don't really count it. Otherwise, I'd probably give myself a fright. The amount that I watch.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Big Little Lies coming up. I think that will be really good.
Yeah. That's such a fantastic show.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Nicole Kidman's best in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was really good, and they got Meryl Streep on.
Yeah.
So that'll be amazing. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that. And I mean, I was into The Crown for a little while, but then I just ran out of time because the new season's releasing in December, and I'm like, there's no way that I can watch a new show in December with everything that I have to do. That's not happening.
Oh, no, yeah. This is maybe starting October, so there's no chance.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of my theory is I think that a lot of shows get stretched out a lot longer than they have ideas for. And some shows get stretched out so long that they kind of get a second and maybe even third, maybe even, a show like The Simpsons, for instance, in my opinion, has had people are all like, oh, it's terrible. But I actually think that the last 3 or 4 seasons have been pretty funny, that they kind of had a creativity in the last few seasons that they didn't have for a while. And it's a show that's been on so long that it's cycled several times. Multiple times in this thing, because 30 years, hello. Amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, especially to me, the one that was just so disappointing. I mean, everybody knows How I Met Your Mother was the biggest disappointment of my whole life.
Yeah, I never watched that, and everybody talking about the end was like, I'm never going to watch this show.
Good choice. You made a good choice. But also, I hated Sherlock season 4. I thought it was awful, and I couldn't believe it. I was so mad.
Yeah, I didn't hate it as much as, I mean, I think there's just so much excitement over here for it that it's kind of just appointment TV. Everybody is watching it at exactly the same time, and I don't know if I went back and watched it, if I'd probably feel the same as you.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the time of watching it, I enjoyed it. But I think that's just also the kind of communal viewing of it.
I can see that. It just made me so mad because I felt like everybody was smarter than Sherlock. Everyone. And the whole thing with his sister was just like, I felt, did I stumble upon a Saw remake? Like, what is happening here? So, I was so mad. I immediately wrote a blog post and I was like, why Sherlock season 4 sucks? I hate it so much. It was very, very excited. But anyway, yeah, that was just that was a big disappointment because we waited 3 years and it's like, oh man, Stephen Moffat, you couldn't come up with something better than that. Like, Stephen Moffat is not my favorite.
Yeah, I think he was no, God, no.
Yeah.
Not mine either.
I'm glad that he left Doctor Who. I'm glad that he left
so glad.
Sherlock.
So glad.
Yes. So anyway, but
he's doing Dracula next, I think, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like to say he's the M. Night Shyamalan of television. I think that's true. So how did you even find out about Hallmark movies? Do they have like a somewhat similar channel, or how do you even watch them there?
Oh, it's so confusing here. It's so confusing. You need to be really committed to Hallmark. It's so confusing. So we have Movies 24, which I guess license Hallmark movies.
Uh-huh.
But the majority, like I say, it's movies 24, so pretty much 24/7. They show Hallmark movies. I would say probably like 95% are Hallmark movies, and then you get like a random one that just like never even heard of, like the studio or the whatever. You're just like, okay, a TV movie, fair enough.
That's funny.
But yeah, they just have, like, I would say kind of early 2000s onwards movies, so you just kind of have to, let's say, be committed, go through your TV guide, try and find all the new ones. Normally they'll have the new ones on at the weekend, but let's say like Christmas, they roll them out a lot quicker, so you're able to get through a lot more. But yeah, like, especially at this time of year, they're also showing When Calls the Heart, and they're not showing Chesapeake Shores. I think they're showing The Good Witch just now. So that's kind of taking away from the premiere time at the weekends because those shows are on. So you're getting even less of the new movies now. So it's just really hard to kind of get those new movies. And then we have some on, the older ones on our Netflix UK. We have Sky Cinema. There's a couple of options on there. That's how I saw the Christmas Contract and No Sleep Till Christmas last year, because Sky Cinema had bought those movies. But yeah, we don't have Freeform here, so we have to kind of rely on our streaming services to purchase those movies. So yeah, it's just, you just have to be very committed, and and I'm not gonna lie, like all the older films, they're all on YouTube or whatever. You can if you can put up with the ads, you can watch them. But yeah.
But you were able to watch A Brush with Love according to your letterbox, at least. Yeah. So they're fairly up to date then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we didn't get the Easter movie, which is a bit disappointed. Yeah, I gather there wasn't much Easter in the Easter movie, but I was like, why? Oh, it's so annoying. Like, it's Easter, just put the Easter movie on. You can't show it any other time of the year, so we'll probably have to wait next Easter to see it.
Yeah, that's weird because they've been showing it so much here on Hallmark Channel. I swear, it seems like, I don't know, they just really liked that movie, evidently. But but yeah, that's good that you have that, because even it's funny because all these movies are made in Canada, but they don't have Hallmark Channel in Canada, and so they have a hard time getting them. But
yeah, it's weird. Cause a lot of the shows that I watch film in Canada, like all your kind of Arrowverse shows, so you're watching these movies and you're going, oh yeah, I saw that in The Flash, or I saw that in Supergirl, or the sets just look all kind of familiar to me at this point.
Yeah. So, of the ones that you have gotten to see this year, do you have a favorite?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I really like The Brush with Love because that guy was like the cutest guy I've ever seen in my life. He's like, they need to have him in everything.
Agreed. He was so dreamy. I agree with you.
I can't remember his name, but yeah,
Nick
Bateman, something Bateman.
Yeah, Nick Bateman.
Yeah.
He is very
was All of My Heart the Wedding, was that this year?
That was last fall.
That was last year, yeah.
You might be thinking of The Wedding in the Vineyard was this year.
Okay. Just Sad Romance, yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, that was cute. That was good. Yeah. I liked that too.
My
favorite of the year so far is One Winter Proposal. I loved that.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, I really like that. I really liked the first Crossword Mysteries. But it was one of those ones where I liked it and then I was like, well, how can they keep doing this?
Yeah, I think we're all kind of like, what? What is happening?
So I watched the first one and I was like, I don't know if I even want to watch the second one, because like, how are they going to like have a murder clue thing with a crossword like every single time? So yeah, I was a bit kind of nervous about watching more of those. But yeah, I would say Just Sad Romance is probably my favourite so far. One Winter Proposal is too far behind that though.
Yeah. Well, those are good choices. I really did enjoy Just Sad Romance.
I mean, if Luke McFarlane's in it, I'm totally biased and just want to say it's my favourite.
Yeah, and that whole date, all the dating that they went on was so cute, and that whole scene in the elevator. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to suspend your disbelief that they were actually filming a show, though.
Yeah,
it's like this is.
They don't have any lighting of any kind.
No, you don't have anything.
That's funny. What about Christmas? What were some of your favorites from this last Christmas?
From this last year, obviously the Luke McFarlane one was kind of.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's off my list, but Road to Christmas, the Chad Michael Murray one. Yeah, that's probably.
That was really
so
good.
Yeah, Sure Addicts, Road to Christmas, Majestic Christmas, I would say is one of my favourites as well. Small Town Christmas I really liked.
That was fun.
Yeah, I really liked that one. And I know a lot of people didn't really care for it, but Once Upon a Christmas Miracle, a favourite as well.
I thought that was cute. I liked that. I also, I loved Christmas Perfection. That was great. And I also loved Christmas Pen Pals. Those are my two favorite off-brand.
Christmas Perfection. I think that ended up on Sky Cinema here. I think that's how I ended up seeing it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
It was just so funny to me. I just really thought it was hilarious. But yeah, and then Christmas Pen Pals was just so sweet. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know.
I don't think I saw that one.
I just loved all of it's the one with Niall Mater and Sarah Drew. But
I did see that one. I was like crying all the way through that one. I was like, I didn't expect this to be so dramatic.
Yeah. Well, and I just really liked all the little couples because there were all these people writing each other. It was just so fun. I loved it. Yeah,
I really liked that one.
Yeah.
Sarah Drew's my favourite. She was on Grey's Anatomy for years, and she'd just gotten I let go, but I say fired because I'm still bitter about it. But unfairly fired. So it was so nice to see her in a movie so close after that. She made me cry for years on Grey's Anatomy, so I don't know why I was so surprised that I was crying.
I never seen her before, but I loved her. I thought she was great. So that was really fun.
Oh, did you not see Everwood years ago? No, that's a great show.
I never saw that, I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy way longer whenever they get killed off Denny. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm mad. So that was going way back.
Oh, you missed a lot of heartbreak then.
Yeah, it was. I was very upset because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan so much.
You probably shouldn't watch Supernatural then as well because
Was he on that?
I think he's he's died and came back a few times on that.
Oh no. Yeah.
He plays the boys' father on that show.
Oh really? I didn't realize that. That's funny. Well, so there were a lot of fun ones last year. I really I don't know, there were just a lot of very
I will say
ones, but a lot of fun.
I just glanced at my list. I feel like there was just like a bunch in the middle that I just felt the exact same about. There was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 that I really liked, and then a whole chunk in the middle that was like, they're fine, but they needed a little bit more kind of magic and whimsy for me. Like if you're going to be Christmas, go Christmas.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I would like that's.
I would like them to have just a couple at least that have a little bit of magic.
All of them, 3 or 4 that have just got like a Santa Claus or kind of. Did you ever see Christmas Under Wraps? The Cameron Bure one from a few years ago.
The Christmas. That one's really cute. I like
that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Like, not asking for like a full-on Santa, but like a guy that you maybe think maybe he's Santa.
Yeah,
like a couple of hints
happens to have a beard. Yeah, I agree. I think that we need it, especially if you're going to have a movie like Christmas in Evergreen. If that's going to become a series, like add a little bit of magic to it. I don't know. I don't think every single movie needs to be a workplace comedy, which is basically what's kind of happened. They're almost all people that are working on some project, whether it's their job or volunteer thing. But yeah, the other one that I really, really liked was Christmas Bells Are Ringing, just because I thought that wedding was so good. I loved it. And I just, because most Hallmark weddings make me crazy, and I just don't like bridezillas at all. But this was just so thoughtful, and they were so supportive, and I really liked that one a lot. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I think I have that kind of in the middle as well. Yeah, I like that one.
Mm-hmm. So did you have a favorite like feature film last year that you loved, or a couple favorites for last year?
Oh gosh, yeah,
I know,
probably.
on the spot.
Oh God.
My favorite was
I
Mary Poppins Returns and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse were my favorite.
Yeah, I think A Star Is Born just kind of
that was so
stayed
good.
my favorite all year long. So yeah, I just couldn't kind of top that experience of seeing that film.
Yeah, that was so good.
So yeah, I'd say that's probably my favorite. I think Mary Poppins Returns was my number 2. Annihilation was my 3rd, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I loved it. Yeah, all found my top 15. So yeah, Star is Born, Mary Poppins, Annihilation, Leave No Trace was another favourite.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Spider-Verse, yeah, that was great too.
So good. I also loved the Leave No Trace and Paddington 2. Even though you guys got that the year before, so it might not be on your list, but I love Paddington 2. And
that was fantastic.
I loved Lean on Pete. I thought that was great.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Yeah, I didn't see that one. There's a lot of horse movies, so.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's so weird.
It's so weird. And after the rider, I was like, if it's as upsetting as the rider, I don't know if I want to watch it.
I know, because there was the rider and Leon Pete last year, and then this year there's the Mustang, another horse movie. It's like, what is going on?
For God's sake.
But I loved Crazy Rich Asians. I still
need to see that. Yeah, I still to see that one.
Oh, it's so fun.
I don't think I saw that one yet.
And then one I thought was
Love, Simon.
Yeah, Love, Simon was so sweet. I really enjoyed it.
That. So good.
Yeah, it was really good. I also thought was very underrated was a movie called Juliet Naked, which sounds way more scandalous than it is, but it's based on a Nick Hornby book, and I love Nick Hornby's writing. Well, so for top 5 this month, we thought it would be fun to give our top 5 favorite sci-fi / fantasy shows. Kind of everybody's thinking about Game of Thrones. I just finished watching Star Trek Discovery this season. I don't know. It was just sounded fun. So it's obviously a pretty hard task to do. And but do you have any honorable mentions that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I just want to admit Arrowverse was probably the shows that I'm kind of watching just now. But again, it includes Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. I don't watch Arrow anymore. I'm mad at that show because it's gotten so bad. So yeah, the Flash is kind of headed that way as well. I'm just over it at this point. But yeah, Supergirl is just firing all cylinders just now. I would say it suffers from the 22 episodes thing, where you could probably just take a chunk out in the middle and it's just all feels like filler. But yeah, I would say the last 5 episodes of this season has been absolutely fantastic. Legends of Tomorrow, again, absolutely fantastic. It's probably the best in terms of quality of Arrowverse. They've just went bonkers and embraced the more crazy side of the time travel, and they don't follow in, like with the Flash. There's these strict time travel rules that they say they try to keep to. I don't think they do, but they say, well, we can't do this because it affects such and such in the timeline. Well, there's Legends of Tomorrow. It just is absolutely bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
They just alter time all the time, and they just kind of move on to the next thing. So yeah, I would say kind of Arrowverse is kind of my main focus as far as sci-fi fantasy just now. So yeah, give them a shout out. God, Agents of Shield probably another great show. That the more it's kind of separated itself from the kind of larger MCU, I would say it kind of has gotten so much better.
I'm way behind on it, so I need to catch up. But
it's one that kind of dips in quality, then goes back up again, and then kind of dips again. But I would say last season was absolutely fantastic. I think after kind of Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of things had happened, the showrunner said, "Well, we can go to space," and they just went to space. So give those a shout out as well. And I would say Once Upon a Time, another honorable mention. I was kind of one of the few that liked the last season. I kind of liked a few of the ideas that they had, and I would kind of like to have seen more from those characters. But the first few seasons of that show, I absolutely loved. I mean, as a Disney fan, it's kind of required viewing.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Little Mermaid.
Ah, really? Me too.
Yeah. It's the first movie I've ever saw in the cinema.
Yeah. Me too. Well, it's the first one I ever really remember seeing, at least.
My grandparents took me to see it. I remember my grandpa fell asleep, so it wasn't his favorite.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cool. I have some honorable mentions. I have the X-Files as honorable mention just because it has been so long since I watched it. I mean, since I haven't seen an episode of the X-Files since college at the very latest. I mean, I don't know. It's been a decade, over a decade since I saw an episode. So I don't even know if it really holds up, if I still like it, but I did definitely like it growing up. Yeah. And I thought, particularly, there's just particular episodes that really stood out to me. Like probably the most memorable of all, though, was they had an episode where there was all these cockroaches. And then at the very end of the episode, this CGI cockroach crawled across the credits, and I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, because I hate cockroaches so much. They're so disgusting. And that was a very memorable. They really got me with that tiny cockroach back in the day. But yeah, I'd have to watch it again because it's just been too long since I've seen it. But yeah, and then I have, as honorable mention, I have Futurama. Really wanted to put this in. I love Futurama. It's so funny. It's so clever. It's so artistic. But I just didn't have enough spots. Yeah, but it's really great.
It's one I kind of always put on in the background.
Yeah,
it's one, if there's like a marathon on, I'll kind of have it on. But I remember loving the first couple of seasons of that.
Yeah. And then Rick and Morty, I like in small doses. I think it's super creative. I think it's got tons of, it can be quite funny, but it just can be a little bit too much. I
feel exactly the same.
Yeah, it's so acerbic and it's so shouty and it's so like I can't binge it, that's for sure. And so
that's what I tried to do with it. That's what I tried to do that with it, and because I heard like there's so much like merchandise, and I just felt like it was so like it was everywhere, and I was like, oh my, like I have to kind of give it a chance and watch it because so many people seem to love it. And I kind of tried it. Once I got to like the fifth, it was like the first couple of episodes, I thought, God, it's so good. And then by the time I got to like the fifth and sixth, I was like, oh God, like this, I can't watch anymore. Yeah, it's such a weird feeling of like, this is too much.
It's so cynical. You can't. Yeah. So I get that. And then finally, I have Doctor Who on my honorable mentions, just because I still have to see a bunch of it. I've watched season 1, season 2, season 10, and season 11. I know that's weird, but because I started watching with season 10 because my friend Jonathan wanted to cover it on the podcast, and so I said, sure, why not? And I started at season 10, And then, then I just watched this last season. And then we went back and covered season 1 on the podcast. And so I've seen, and season 2. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but I've got to watch the rest of it, but it's really great. I love particularly anytime they go back.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen any. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any kind of classic Who.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of post David Tennant, I haven't really seen much. I mean, obviously, it's such a part of the TV DNA here.
Yeah.
That you've seen bits and pieces kind of throughout time, but yeah, I've never really sat down and watched it apart from kind of David Tennant on.
Yeah, I know. It's so creative. It's different. I like how unpredictable it is. You never know if you're going to get a more funny episode, if you're going to get a historical episode. It's going to be really dramatic.
Those are my favorite ones, the historical ones.
Yeah, I love those. And then you might get one that's kind of more horror in feel. That makes it fun. Like every episode, you just don't know. So. Anyway, so those are my honorable mentions. And I don't know how tied I am to my order of these 5. They're just my top 5.
Yeah, I would say my number 1 is my number 1, but the rest are kind of interchangeable.
Yeah. So what do you have as your number 5?
Well, going back to the X-Files. So the X-Files, I think I'm sure I started watching it when it first premiered, but I would have been far too young to kind of I don't know, kind of get into it. But I'm pretty sure when it came back in when did it come back? I think 2016.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of rebooted it or whatever it was they did to it. I thought, I'll kind of go back from the beginning, kind of do a rewatch. And kind of see what I missed, and I'm pretty sure I missed kind of all of it the first time around because it all felt new. It kind of all felt like I was watching it all for the first time. So I binge watched 9 seasons kind of over the course of a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say up and down in quality, obviously. I would say the first few seasons are, unparalleled. The chemistry between David and Gillian is just so phenomenal. And I think when you look at the kind of history of television, they kind of invented the kind of shipping relationships. They were the first ones to kind of ever really be talked about that way online.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, the episodes that just really stand out, the alien conspiracies, everything. I just absolutely love the show. I would say when it came back in 2016, that was good. Mm-hmm. I think that was season 10. They kind of continued it, so it was kind of labelled as season 10.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. It ended well, and then I would say season 11 and 12 are awful, horrendous.
Yeah, I didn't hear very good things about
that. I actually remember going on Facebook and being like, this guy, Chris Carter, should never be allowed to write for television again. It's so bad. Mm-hmm. What he did to Gillian Anderson's character was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so, it's like the new seasons of Arrested Development. I just pretend they don't exist.
Oh my god!
Because they was so bad. Season 4 was so bad. It was so boring. I fell asleep in every episode. I was like, oh. I should use it for my insomnia.
Yeah.
It's too painful because it was so funny for 3 years. And then, that was such a letdown. But yeah, it's a very good choice. So my number 5, I have Once Upon a Time. I think that I didn't watch the final season, I must say, but I felt like it felt like a whole nother kind of thing. It didn't feel like the same show. And so all my, pretty much all my characters were gone. So I just didn't watch it. But I just loved, I'm a huge Disney fan. And so it was really fun, all the little Easter eggs to all the different movies and all the different characters that they brought in. And it's kind of what I wish they were doing with the live action remakes. And instead of doing what they're doing, I wish that they would kind of just do a whole different creative take on it and take the stories, like have the little homages and the little things. But what they did in Once Upon a Time was just a totally different story, but it had all of those kind of little moments that made it fun. And I really think they had a great cast.
One of the best characters in Once Upon a Time was Hook.
Right. Yeah. It was totally different than Hook in the movie.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah.
And just they had such a great cast. Everybody had great chemistry, whether it's everybody was just wonderful, and I just really enjoyed it. I loved the musical episode. There were so many good episodes.
I loved the music episode too. It was so Disney. It was so good.
It was so good, and they actually had, again, which the live action remakes don't always have, they actually had good singers. I was like, wow, these people could be on Broadway. They were really good.
Yeah.
And so that's my number 5. What do you have at number 4?
My number 4 is Merlin, which I don't know if that aired in the US.
I never heard of it.
Yes. Oh my God, I would absolutely recommend it.
Yeah,
it kind of had the Doctor Who slot during the Tennant years when Doctor Who was off. So it's family viewing. It's absolutely perfect for a family to kind of sit down and watch. It is, I think, 5 seasons they did, 5 series, and it basically just tells it the entire kind of Arthur story, kind of from Merlin kind of discovering his abilities as a teenager, and going into Camelot and kind of befriending Arthur, and it kind of tells their kind of, they start off as kind of antagonists, they become best friends. The cast is phenomenal. It's one of those things where the cast is phenomenal and you kind of think like, I wish these people kind of went on to bigger things, but they kind of pop up here and there. Like Katie McGrath is on in Supergirl, she played Morgana. But yeah, it's just such a fantastic show. The magic is a little hokey now when you go back and look at it. But if you find it, I would absolutely recommend it, especially if you like Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'll definitely check that out. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It's very funny as well.
Oh, cool.
It has a good sense of humor about itself.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, so my number 4, I have Star Wars Rebels. I have not been a huge fan of most of the Disney Star Wars movies. I like Force Awakens a lot, but the rest have been kind of disappointing for me. And some of them I went fresh with, but I don't know. I haven't had any that I've loved except for Force Awakens. And
I think I would.
Yeah. I love Star Wars Rebels. I thought that it's animation, so you're going to see that a lot on this list, but I loved the animation. It was great. I thought they brought back old characters in just the right way, used them just enough but it was all based on new characters with new arcs. There were so it was more interesting to me than either prequel or sort of what they've done with these sequels. And I in these standalone movies too, where it's just like, I didn't need that story. But this to me is more interesting to learn about new characters. And I love the characters, particularly the female characters are so great, with Sabine and Ahsoka and Hera. And I just think they're really well done, really well voiced. And they're not just like kick butt female characters. They have arcs and are interesting. And I just really, there's some of the stuff that's obviously for kids, because it's on Disney Junior. But even that, I didn't really mind it. And I really just thought it was 4 very strong episodes of Star Wars. And so I loved it.
Yeah, it's one I've never really got to. I think I started watching it and I just kind of fell away from it. But yes, one I always kind of mean to go back to. I think animation, if I don't like a style of animation, it's kind of hard for me to get invested in a story because I get so distracted visually.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Even the music, Dave Filoni, I think, has the creator of Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, I think, has sort of the best handle right now on sort of what Star Wars at least originally kind of was, and what is, in my mind at least, what Star Wars is. And he's executing it the way that, that I think makes the most sense. But anyway, it was really, really a great show. And I think they didn't push it. They ended it at 4 seasons, and I was kind of glad that they did. And I thought the finale
I didn't realize it was only 4.
the finale was really great. And so, So what do you have at number 3?
My number 3 is Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bit of a weird one when you consider Star Trek, but I just have such fond memories of watching this growing up. Obviously, when it was coming out, like, if you didn't watch it every week, then there was no going back and like catching up or anything like that. So you had to kind of go out and find VHS tapes, and it was a bit of a nightmare in that sense. But I definitely watched Out of Order the first time around because of that. But I think as far as Star Trek, this crew is my favourite crew. The dynamics between this crew is probably my favourite. Janeway is, I don't know if it's just Kate Mulgrew's acting choices or whatever, but there's just something about Janeway that I absolutely adore, and I get more out of her than I do kind of Picard or whatever, the other captains. The episodic episodes are really, really good. I mean, this was true kind of episodic Star Trek, so you were never, I think a lot of people who watch maybe Star Trek Discovery never watched the previous shows. Like, this is so different. Like, I think I would definitely recommend Star Trek Voyager as like a good kind of place to kind of jump in and see some of these fantastic episodic episodes. I mean, they did have arcs, like they had the Borg kind of villains, which I think were really fantastic villains. Yeah, the characters were just so good. 7 and 9 is such a brilliant character. Like her whole arc from kind of being a human that was kind of changed into assimilated into the Borg, and then kind of brought out of the Borg and became part of the crew, and kind of her whole journey was just so like emotionally satisfying. But yeah, I just absolutely love Star Trek Voyager. It's definitely my number 1 when it comes to Star Trek.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that. I definitely want to check it out one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I'm just now making my way through Deep Space Nine, and I'm finding it very difficult because it is kind of all just on one space station, so they don't have like away. That's another thing with Star Trek Discovery, but it's quite different. They didn't have away missions. They didn't have these exploring different planets and different alien cultures and things like that. Well, this kind of does that.
Yeah.
Every other episode.
Yeah, I've watched some of the original series, not every episode, but most of it, and I really enjoy that. And I've seen Discovery, but I actually own The Next Generation. I just haven't had time to watch it. But
yeah, I mean that's great as well. It's absolutely great, and I would say probably in terms of quality, if you were going to put them up against Voyager, maybe it is a little bit better than Voyager. But I think it's just something about the dynamic between the crew, the actors, kind of all of it, kind of all together, kind of pushes Voyager right to the top for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. So my number 3 is another animated show that I love called Gravity Falls. And this is a show that is about 2 twin siblings, Dipper and Mabel. And they go to spend the summer with their grunkle, their great uncle, named Stan, who is just this grumpy, that's why he's called the grumpy guy. And there's in this town of Gravity Falls where they run this kind of tourist trap kind of shop. And there's all of these really strange supernatural stuff that happens in the forest. And I just love the show. I love Dipper and Mabel. I think especially Mabel's just one of the most like adorable characters I've ever seen. I love her design. I just love her personality. She's so bubbly and sweet, and I think that it managed to be really funny. It managed to be really sweet. It was so creative. So I used to say that it was like Doctor Who but for kids. And because you just never knew what was going to happen, and at the ending, they had this weird Mageddon. He called it they had like a 2 or 3 episode arc called Weird Mageddon that was just, I thought, incredibly brilliant. And the writer animator Alex Hirsch, he had a vision that it only lasted 2 seasons, and but that was by his design. He had a vision for the story he was going to tell, and as much as all of us were like, no, come back, it's so good,
sometimes that's for the best.
And I admire him for that he did that. And I just love the show. It was really good.
I've never seen it, but like I go to a lot of conventions,
and
the amount of cosplay that I've seen, so like I've seen just so many people cosplaying those characters, like it's so ingrained in like the culture of like conventions now. Like you just see people dressed up.
Well, it's such an easy cosplay.
You just put on a baseball cap and
I've gone as Dipper because even though I have a really, really nice Elsa outfit, I don't like wearing it to conventions because you have to wear uncomfortable shoes and it's just so uncomfortable. And it's like, I want to be comfortable for the convention.
Yeah, I get so impressed with cosplay and stuff, but I'm just like, oh my god, it's such a hassle.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a really special show. I think it's really, really fun. So, what do you have as number 2?
My number 2 is Battlestar Galactica. The kind of reimagined, rebooted, whatever you want to call it, version. I think as far as, a show that kind of, for me, was perfect beginning to end, Battlestar Galactica was that. I think it's a show that doesn't age. I think the messages within it are just so relevant and will always be relevant, whether it's kind of politically or whatever, no matter your viewpoint, I think you can absolutely get something out of it. It really takes a deep dive into humanity, what makes us human, this kind of humans versus the Cylons. We as the audience kind of know a wee bit more than our main characters, especially in the beginning. So you're kind of viewing it through that point as well. I just think it's such a fantastic show. I think in terms of the caliber of the actors, I mean, you've got Edward James Olmos, Mary McDonald, Michael Hogan, and some of the best character arcs kind of ever done on TV for me. Incredible visuals. You kind of have the Viper kind of ships and kind of the sort of like dog fights. If you think of old like movies with dog fights, it's kind of a similar kind of style, but obviously in space. I just think it's an absolutely perfect show. I don't think it'll ever be kind of.
I need to.
They keep saying they might do it again, but I just don't think they should ever touch it again. I think it's absolutely perfect as is.
I need to watch it. I haven't.
It's short seasons as well. I mean, it's not. I think it's like 12 to 13 episodes per season, I think, something like that. But absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think a good entry into it is obviously the miniseries. It started off as a kind of I guess 2 feature length episodes, you would say, and they called it the miniseries. That aired on Sci-Fi, and it's kind of the origin story to the bigger story. So it's a good entry point to kind of see if that it's for you. But it's such a phenomenal show. I couldn't recommend it high enough.
Cool. Well, my number 2 is Stranger Things. I just really have enjoyed this show. I really, I think they do the mystery so well and really get you invested, especially the first season, I think did the mystery the best. Whereas the second one, it was more of a monster movie. It was more of a creature movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
just
kind of wondered if they're going to do that every season or just have like a different main kind of genre theme.
Yeah, they could. But I love all the kids. I think that's brilliant casting.
Oh, they're so good.
They're so
Yeah.
good. I love Eleven. It's a great character. I mean,
Yeah.
really the only flaw is that insane weird episode in season 2.
Oh my god. I don't even know what you're about to say. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're about to say. I was so, like I don't really read spoiler reviews or anything before I see anything, but like everybody, even like before I knew, but I say I don't read them, but like I knew before I even like hit play on the second season that there was an episode that I was going to hate because everybody said the same thing.
It was pretty terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
With the just the most shrill, horrible characters, and it didn't even go anywhere. It didn't do anything. Like it was.
Yeah, it just
was
felt
so
like they were
weird.
trying to kind of hit a certain genre of movies from the 80s.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll do this kind of weird off the wall episode.
It was so weird,
Did not
but
work. Hopefully they learned a lesson for next time.
Yes, hopefully not. No more of that. It was awful. But the rest of them, I've just really, really liked all the different combinations of different characters when they were there together. And I don't know, I just find it really charming and scary at times and funny at times and sweet. I think it has a nice heart to it. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. I'm really looking forward to season 3. So, all right, what is your number 1 favorite fantasy sci-fi?
My number 1. It's not just my favorite sci-fi fantasy. It's my favorite TV show of all time. And it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, like when I said at the beginning, like I was movies all the time, especially horror. Buffy's the show that changed that for me. I don't know when I started watching it or why I started watching it, but it brought me into kind of the fandom world. It kind of brought me into the convention world. It brought me into kind of TV as an art form. It just kind of changed my outlook on pretty much everything. It's how I met some of my best friends. So I travelled to all over the country to different conventions and viewing parties, and it was just such a huge part in my 20s. And it's an absolutely perfect show. It's obviously created by Joss Whedon. If you like the kind of writing style of Jane Espenson from Once Upon a Time, she's kind of all through Buffy. The characters are incredible. The way they kind of used, the monsters of the week as metaphors for high school.
Right.
Different things that you kind of obstacles that you come through in high school. They kind of use their monsters of the week as that. And as I said with Supergirl, like the 22 episodes kind of hurts that show. Whereas with Buffy, I feel like they embraced the 22 episodes and they really used those 22 episodes to tell that entire arc. You had 1 or maybe 2 filler episodes, and everybody kind of has a go at the 5th season of the show. I don't think it's as bad as people kind of say that it is, even within the fandom, but it's so good. It's so phenomenal.
Speaking of musical episodes, those are legendary.
I think the kind of Flash Supergirl episode kind of blew Buffy out of the water in terms of music episodes. I love the Buffy one, but in terms of like you were saying, like some of these people could be on Broadway, that's not really the point of the Buffy one. It wasn't like, look what amazing singers we were. It was really telling a particular story, especially because Buffy had kind of just come back into the world again after being gone for a little bit, and so it was kind of telling her story. So that episode was kind of that. But yeah, it's such a phenomenal episode. It's such a phenomenal show. Like, probably my favourite relationship on television was Buffy and Angel. It was very, vampire slayer falls in love with vampire. And it was very tropey in that sense, but so it's just they were such a phenomenal couple, such a phenomenal arc. Joss kind of left the show in the 6th season. He was kind of running Buffy, running Angel, the spin-off, trying to kind of launch Firefly. So his kind of, I guess Buffy kind of went down on his list of priorities, but I don't think that hurt the show as much as, again, people kind of like to say that it did. You know, I really think the other writers kind of, including Jane, kind of stepped up and really kind of ended the show well for me.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I haven't seen it all, but I've seen some, and I
mean, it's one of
enjoyed
those
it.
ones, but like the first season is really hokey. Like there's a puppet episode that is kind of it's one of the most talked about episodes in kind of the show history because it's so awful. Like the visuals and stuff, it's just so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first season
they figure it out.
You know,
yeah,
not the greatest thing in the world, but yeah, onwards it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Well, my number one is one that just came out last year, so maybe it has a little recency bias, but I absolutely loved a little mini series, little anthology series, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but a little series called Hilda that was aired on Netflix last year. And I love animation, so of course it gets a bump. That I loved this animation especially. I loved the color palette is just very like calming and very. I just love the colors of like even her hair, sort of this blue, the color of the blue, color of the greens that he used. I just love the color palette of it. I love Hilda as a character. Like she's just so loving and so kind, and she's kind of like Mabel, but not as perky. But she's still, I don't know, just so great. And it's just such a clever world with this city of Trollberg, and they've been living out in the in this fantastical, wilderness forest for a long time. And she has all of these different fantastical creatures that are her friends, and she goes on these little adventures with them. She learns things about them, and the show's so good about having messaging but not making it so over the top. One of the things I hate in current television is the need, even on shows I like the Grobergs, for instance. I don't really like that we have to get a little monologue at the end of every episode saying, and so you learn that family is
a little preachy.
Like I'm not an idiot. I get it. I know what the message was of the show. Like, and so, but this, I don't know, it's just like, for instance, there's one scene where there's she's very upset because this giant creature has stepped through her house. She's very upset. How could you do that? And then just it kind of pans out, and you see that Hilda has stepped on the house of the little elf person, and she doesn't even realize it. And so that's the kind of thing. It's like there's a message there, there's an irony there, but it's just kind of subtle, and they don't have to tell us, kind of what is the message. And I just love everything about it. I love her two friends. I love that.
I think especially even with kids show, you shouldn't really talk down to your audience.
Yeah. And it's so creative. I love the music. I love everything about it. I think it's just a brilliant show.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for the next season. Yes. And so have you seen it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, it's one I don't really follow, obviously, but I do see it kind of pop up in my feed every now and then if it like wins an award, or if it's kind of, had like an episode that really kind of spiked in popularity or whatever. I do see it kind of pop up, so it is nice to see kind of things come through, even for somebody like me that doesn't even like watch that much animation on TV kind of things. So clearly it's doing something right if I'm seeing things about it.
Yeah, I really recommend it. I think it's just a delightful show, and it's so good. All 13 episodes I loved. It just made me so happy watching it. So there you go. We did it. We got our top 5. So let's go over our list real quick. I have Once Upon a Time at number 5, Star Wars Rebels at number 4, Gravity Falls at number 3, Stranger Things at number 2, and I have Hilda at number 1.
Yep, so I've got X-Files at number 5, Merlin at number 4, Star Trek Voyager at number 3, Battlestar Galactica at number 2, and number 1, all-time favourite, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Awesome. So cool. Well, this has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed talking with you, and we'll definitely have to do it again, and hopefully we can get.
Absolutely.
I really wish we could have gotten Amber in on this, but we'll have to have you on again. We can get Amber in, and
excellent. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be really fun. And so if people want to follow you on social media or whatever, how can they do that?
They can follow me on Twitter at Michelle B822 if you want. Be warned, I do live tweet Supergirl quite a lot. Just be warned.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should have that warning. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can, and see lots of pictures of my dog. It's basically his Instagram feed. So it's Michelle_B_82 if you want. Yeah.
Great. Yes. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media and on iTunes and YouTube. And I have a whole review on my channel of the show Hilda. So you should check that out. And and we did a whole episode of the podcast on Once Upon a Time. So we talked about, and I have a whole podcast on Doctor Who. So we have a lot of coverage either on my channel or on Hallmarkies Podcast about these different things we've talked about. So let us know your list in the comment section or on Twitter. What are your favorites? Maybe there's some we didn't mention that are some of your favorite. Let us know in the comment section or on Twitter. And make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media and on iTunes and YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate it. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And we have our Patreon now, which is really exciting. For as little as $2 a month, you can get access to early reviews, early content. You can give feedback to our show. And we have some other fun perks that are really fun. So I'll put a link down to that. You check it out. And thanks again, Michelle. This was really fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me on, Rachel. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Well, everybody should follow Michelle, and let's definitely do it again soon.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.